Well, I don't know if I'm still should be doing this. This is a very late review of Eden Zero, so enjoy them while they're still there before there may be some accidents when they disappear forever. And this chapter is surprisingly one that actually has some connections to a spin-off, or at least only in one single scene. It has more of the fact and information about the elementals 4 of Eden Zero. Also, more questions than answers about that, but it does seem to imply that they're not really human. Well, one didn't really look human, one looked alien, but you know what I mean. We'll see about that. Oh, sorry, the angry anime fan here, and this is chapter 72 of Eden Zero. First off, Hermito reveals to everyone that which defeated him. And what I meant to say that there is some callback here to a spin-off that he makes. In that spin-off, Pino is noted to be very enthusiastic every single time she hears magic. And as soon as she hears that a witch used magic to deal with the vermin here, she actually gets very excited as well. So it's a very nice touch of the fact that while that gag was actually introduced in Heroes, which is a spin-off, it is still pretty satisfying to see that Hiromashima is including that as well in the real manga as well, meaning that he always had a plan with that. But then we get a little surprising thing that Diego and Seth actually are destroyed. Both of them were robots or androids. I mean, I knew Seth was a robot, but I didn't expect the other guy to be that robot. I mean, he didn't really look human per se, but he didn't really look robotic either. Of course, Maria is the only one who is flesh. Therefore, Sister is going to question her, and we'll see what torture will mean for her. But this creates a very interesting situation. Two of Drakenjo's what seemed to be his inner circle were robots, or androids in this case. Why is Maria the only one who is not? I mean, if there were robots, that would make sense. That Drakenjo could just simply reprogram them and they'd be loyal to him. But I don't see what is Maria's purpose in all of this. Granted, Maria was taken out before we knew her personality. So we see. Either way, Rebecca checks out the hull using a spaceship together with Witch. And yes, the chip's hull has been turned into paper, which allow them to break free. They even managed to neutralize the shield. Also, an old friend came back to the chapters for the first time in a very long time, and that is Captain Connor. I mean, no one is actually saying. Well, actually, yes. Happe is saying you're still here. I think that is what a lot of people are also saying about Captain Connor. I mean, you're still here. I mean, we still don't know why he is here, but I guess it's for fun. He reveals the scary secret that the beam cannon on their ship that they used to invade Eden Zero was actually an ether gear capabilities. As we all know, Drakeyo's power has something to do with alchemy, because he can modify the weight and many things others of metal. But the fact that he can even use his ether gear onto the very ship's weapons itself seems to suggest that ether gear can actually be kind of useful, not just as a weapon for itself, but even for other weapons. I mean, what would happen if Shiki could use his ether gear in the ship weapon system? Granted, however, this may just be that Drakenjol's ether gear is unique. I mean, it is alchemy after all, so maybe it's managed to work its way. It's clear that Drakenjo is a smart one. He knows what he's doing. As Hermito reveals all this, we also see one joke when Shiki says it turns into paper, where for some reason Pino actually becomes temporarily paler. I have no idea why it is there other than for some quick shock laugh. Either way, they have a target now, clearly, and that's Drakenjo, but that's of course not gonna be easy. And that is not only because of the element of 4, but that is because Drakenjos decides to have a little fun and calls for the every citizen in Beltier, reveals the faces of Ed and Zero Gang, revealing he has actually copied them, and says that capture them alive and your debts will be repaid. And apparently every single member in the entire criminal area are in debt. That actually makes sense because I mean Drakenjo would want to have his interests very close hand. He is a greedy person after all. But what makes this so very surprising is why would people even want to have debts at him at the first place? Granted, when you want to have a debt, when you loan money, you normally never think what you bring. And the fact that Drakenjo is even implying that he's not gonna revoke the debts even if they do capture him is one thing. Granted, he also knows that the citizens cannot stop Shiki and the other gang. The only one who's not chasing is of course the old Sibber. So why do I have a feeling that the old Sibber is gonna play some part into this? Well, we'll see. But then Drakenjo reveals something very interesting about alchemy. That there's an old saying that all matters is formed on the 4 elements of fire, water, wind, and earth. That is the foundation of the truth of alchemy. As we said before, we don't know Drakenjo's power completely, but he has an ether gear. That has been confirmed. But it's not exactly known yet what kind of ether gear that is. But it's definitely connected to his alchemy. The thing is though, can he change any material into anything he wants? I mean, if he was a man of greed, can't he change metal into gold? Or would that lose his value? Or is that a limit to his power? I don't really know, but the fact that he mentions the 4 elements seems to suggest that there are elements in this world too. Or he's implying that the alchemy of his ether gear is somewhat more complex. The fact that he's even saying that the elemental 4 are a part of him makes this all the more confusing. Having escaped the gang to and now resting in a park, Weiss reveals he has created a disguise app where he temporarily morphs back into his old, gal-wise form. Shiki into a pompadour guy and Pino in her human form, while Homura is in a sexy ballet dancer outfit until she takes the app and changes into a noble woman. Pino is of course very happy to be in a human form, even though this is only a disguise and everything else. But the old are underestimating things more as Shiki begins to shed tears of happiness again, which actually turns out to become a fatal one, as a voice suddenly says that shedding tears in front of me means weakness, and though when humans cries in front of me, they will never stand back up again. And suddenly, one of the elemental 4 appears from the water, or perhaps is the water itself. It's the guy with the feminine look and the key-like shirt. And Shiki's body suddenly turned completely into water, like he become very heavy. The man reveals himself to be Laguna, the spirit of water of the elemental 4. And I will make you all cry, he proclaimed. He knocked out Shiki just like that. Shiki turned into water. I do not like that. Don't destroy the main character, will you? But it is interesting indeed. What Drakenjo is saying there, that they are a part of him, seems to imply that the elemental 4 may actually not be humans. And the fact that they're even saying humans like that, maybe they are elements that Drakenjo created into human form. That would make sense though why he has them only as a special force and not as, inner circle. Because they are part of him, therefore he do not need to use them all the time. He can only use them when he wants to get completely serious. Basically an armada, fighting forms, whatever. Granted, all of this is nothing more than theories right now. But if it is something like that, then I would like to know how can they attain a human form. But again, for now, all of this is nothing more than theories. And things I guess. What else is there to say about the chapter? Well, Pino was adorable, as usual. We saw Connor again. Welcome back. Other than that, nothing more. I didn't like that Shiki was turned into water immediately. But we have a confirmation now which one of the elemental four we are going to see. Because there were fire, water, wind, and earth, which means we will see a fire, wind, and earth one as well. But who is who? Well, we just have to wait. Give me your thoughts if you have any.